Today on the channel, we're taking a look at the special figure from the Toylanta 25 Four Horsemen release, Artillery Leader ATL-25 on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? Way I Got It Figured, back with another, well, we don't want to call it Mythic Legions. We'll call it a Four Horsemen review. This time, we're looking at a special figure they created for the Toylanta 25 convention. And it is a figure that exists outside of Mythic Legions and Cosmic Legions. It's kind of its own thing. But it's meant to sort of be a modern / futuristic sci-fi type figure that could be in various scenarios. And it looks cool. You know, when I first saw it, I thought maybe it was like Space Roadblock. But I can see where, they say, now it's not really meant to be any particular character or particular line. But, it gives Roadblock, it gives Space Roadblock, energy, but it's not meant to be Roadblock. So we're going to take a look at this figure, and as we always do, look over the package, look out the figure, do some posing around, compare it with some other figures, and get you out of here with some final thoughts. So this figure was provided to me by my good buddy who, is all into the Mythic Legions. He really likes the Four Horsemen stuff. And, I've gone over my history with Four Horsemen in the previous video we did, so I'm not going to rehash it again. But, they do make cool stuff. So Artillery Team Leader ATL-25, looking pretty cool in his package. Got some pretty interesting weaponry here. You got a little side blurb. It's very small. I don't know if I can get it good enough for you to be able to read it. But it sort of gives that synopsis that I gave you about where this figure came from and why they did it. And on the back, you got some nice action figure photography. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to get ATL-25 out of the package and check them out. All right, so we've got ATL-25 out of his package, and he does not come with a inconsiderable amount of accessories. In fact, I even left something out. He's got these shoulder pauldrons. We definitely want to have to make sure they're in there. And what you get here looks good. Looks like a lot. The figure is, of course, exquisitely detailed, nicely painted. It's a very attractive action figure. I'm going to go over as much of it as I can, but some of the stuff, because I've not looked at any product shots of this figure, I just sort of opened it. Some of the stuff I'm honestly not sure what to do with the accessories that he comes with. So I'm going to go over the more or less obvious stuff. So starting with his accessories, comes with like this kind of sling belt. Guess it's like a shoulder sling. 2 sets of hands. In addition to the hands, he's got arm, of course. Comes with sleeved arms. So you can take the arms off, take the forearms off, and swap them out. Comes with a helmeted head. And the helmet looks, maybe it's supposed to be an alien head. I don't know how this is ever supposed to be this guy's same head, just based on the size, but got that. Then he comes with these other bits that, I'm guessing they go some kind of way on his super heavy weapon over here, but it wasn't obvious to me where they go. He has the shoulder pauldrons that plug in the standard Mythic Legion's way. It comes with an assault rifle. Looks pretty cool. Comes with this, looks like a sort of like a heavy blaster pistol type pistol. And then curiously, he comes with 4 of these cylinders that are, they're transparent cylinders. And I'm not sure really, maybe they're supposed to go in the sides of the gun like it's ammo or something. So like that. I don't know what else you would do with it. They're not all the same size either. They're like short ones, smaller ones. So I'm gonna guess they're supposed to be like what passes for ammo for this guy. And then finally, you have this heavy weapon that you put it together in like 3 parts. So you got the backpack, the ammo belt that feeds into the gun, and then the sort of barrel comes off. At first I thought it was binoculars, but it's actually just the barrel to the gun. Just stick that in there. And I guess in terms of ammunition, maybe these are meant to go in here. And that's indeed what it looks like. Just kind of stick them in there. I guess that's ammunition or power supply, something like that, battery power. I don't know. Because why would this be ammunition if you got an ammo belt? It would be kind of redundant. But it all looks good. Seems like it works pretty good. And we'll get into certainly most of it in the course of this video. Then looking at ATL-25 himself, he is very nicely styled in a modern / futuristic type of look. You got your holes for the pauldrons. But it also looks like you can take some of those packed ammo things and stick them in these open slots. Like so. It only comes with the 4, so I don't know 100% why or what they're doing. Got another hole here on its belt. That's how that works. But, it looks cool. In fact, I'll probably just leave this one there. I kind of like that. Looking at his portrait, pretty nice portrait. Like I said, you can kind of see how he's like space roadblock with like kind of a beard, but I'm going to take their word for it that he's not really supposed to be anybody. He can look up pretty good, but his beard's going to stop him from looking down. Got your ab crunch. Pretty decent. Arms. Pretty decent. Legs. Got your swivel at the waist. Knee bend. Ankles with rockers. And yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm not sure what the shirt And there is a piece of a forearm there, so we'll check into that here in a bit. Definitely curious as to how that's going to work. In fact, let's do that now. Pop an arm. There you go. It was a little tough to get it off, but pop the forearm. Now you got a sleeved arm, and yeah, looks fine. Looks like it should look. Anyway, I think the sleeves look decent, but I'm gonna keep them with the bare arms for the purpose of this review. But you did get to see sort of how it looks. We'll get them geared up and be right back. All right, so after some considerable work to get everything together, I got him here standing and more or less holding his gun, and you could do it. It can be done. But it took me probably, I don't know, 15 minutes to get everything to stay. The ammo belt system works fine. It sticks in there, whatever. But when you go to assemble, put both of the hands on the handles and try and keep the ammo belt in there, either the hands coming off or the ammo belt, it's kind of frustrating. But this is what he looks like with his main weapon attached in a reasonable standing pose. I think one of the things about this figure is his abdomen is a little bit on the loose side. That's probably not helping matters, which is funny because ironically they put a thing in here about heating up your figures. It can become tight after production. If they put that in there. But in either of the videos that I've done, I've never had that issue. The issue that I have right now is him holding his weapon and being able to stand at the same time, which took a considerable amount of work. And I'm not gonna, that's just this copy, so I'm not gonna dock the entire figure for it, in a way. And the things do work. It's just when you go to put one hand on the handle and the other hand on the handle, one wants to come off or the ammo belt wants to come out. It's just annoying. But I think he looks great, and certainly we're gonna get in a couple of comparisons. So I'm not sure. I thought Mythic Legions were 6-inch scale figures, but somebody said maybe 6.5. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't collect them, so it's hard for me to say. But I do know, even though he's a little bit bigger, he does come in, comparable height to Commander Steve Rogers. You got your blue Cobra Ninja dude. Blue Cobra Ninja female. And perhaps there he looks so big that maybe he looks a little bit out of sorts with her, but close enough for government work. Just to get him in with a larger scale figure, we'll go ahead and stick ROM in there with him. And it works. That's two different 6-inch lines. Larger, shorter, female, male. I think we're good with comparisons. I'm going to move on to final thoughts. Final thoughts on 4 Horsemen ATL-25 artillery team leader, Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, somewhere in between, Toylanta 25 special figure. I mean, I think the figure is pretty awesome. I don't think this review went as smoothly as when I did the Mythic Legions figure, that, you know, the generic guy. But I still really like it. I think it's a really cool figure. It looks great. You know, you can mix it and match it with different lines. And I do think the things work well enough. The only real issue that I've had is that it makes him somewhat hard to get into poses and manipulate when his abdomen is just a little bit, it's loose. His abdomen is loose. But as you can see, you can still make him do stuff. You can still manipulate the figure. And I do think it's a cool figure. I do. I really like it. So I think I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. I think the last Mythic Legion figure, I'm pretty sure I gave it a 10 because, I mean, it was way better than expected. This is sort of like what I would expect after handling the other figure. But it was a little bit trickier to get some of his stuff to, you know, work in the context of posing them or get him to hold stuff. So, you know, I'm gonna give it a 9 just for like my trouble, I guess. I certainly wouldn't mind having one of these of my own, but Mythic Legions is definitely outside of my budgeted things to collect, so not likely to happen. However, I certainly would love to review figures in the future from this line. So, you know, if you're into Mythic Legions, I mean, yeah, sure. Why wouldn't you get this figure? He's pretty cool. So that's going to do it for this one. You know, as these figures come out, I'll certainly get them from my buddy. And we'll see more Mythic Legions on the channel for sure. So, till next time, everybody stay safe. Happy collecting. See you on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.